Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. So in this video, we're going to go over a portfolio review for the past month or so, and we're going to discuss how the accounts have done post all the transfers from Schwab, and then go over where we left off at Schwab and what we can hope for the rest of the year. So let's go ahead and share. And again, this is the wheel strategy. So, well, it's my wheel strategy. It's not purely the wheel. But again, I don't get tied up in academic concepts. Like if I'm making six-figure returns, I don't really care about whether or not I'm following the wheel to a T. I mean, if you think about it, does it really matter? Like if you're looking, there's a saying, I'll laugh all the way to the bank, so to speak. I mean, do you really care? Think about it. If you make a six-figure rate of return or higher, do you really care whether or not you followed the script perfectly? And me, I'm not actually a script follower, so it doesn't really matter. But anyway, let's go over last week's trades and stuff like that. I plugged the Discord for a little bit here. So the Discord's really taken off. I think everybody's joining and, kind of wanting to see, what we're up to, especially in terms of, trading and stuff like that, which I show pretty transparently. We've got 98 of you online, and the comments have really started to pick up here. Let me see here. Since I'm on my MacBook here, it's hard to scroll. Welcome to Dividend Degenerates. He says it doesn't matter. The weather here is finally starting to cool off, actually. But anyway, let's go ahead. So I have a section called Why Book 101 with the Coach. And for those of you all that know, this is, how I kind of show the value that you all can get from booking a one-on-one with me. So first things first, what I do, I like to show one of my favorite trades, SMCX, which, this one happened to be down in August when I sold the first lots of it. Welcome to Chuck. Glad to have you on. So when I sold the first lots of this in August, the market had tanked, at least for SMCX. The market reacted a little too high, a little too significantly to the earnings. So because of that, my positions dropped, but I sold a little bit more. And what you'll notice here is because of the way things moved last Thursday, I actually, at the perfect time, closed out this trade. So I netted about a $21,620 gain. So what I did, because I had originally sold out for 122 over here, and then bought back for 100, I netted like a $20,000 gain. Now Friday, the market tanked. So if I had not been on the road, behind the wheel, I would have definitely probably sold more at a much lower price and done even better. So with that being said, and this is just mind-blowing, the accounts have hit, sorry, my ears are still clogged from the elevation I was at. But anyway, so if any of you talk to me over the video and I don't hear you, that's why. But I can read your comments at least. But anyway, so where we are, so all the Schwab transfers are finally done. In the grand scheme of things, the little boo-boo they made with High Tie wasn't a big deal at all because I still have the shares over here. But, oh, by the way, so I showed the one trade in the Fidelity accounts, but these are my last trades in Schwab, actually. So I was trying to sell some stuff and, close some positions to free up enough cash to actually make the trade go through. Because as you all know, I really, really want that 4% extra for my collateral, which is why I moved everything to Fidelity. What does passive earnings say? He says, Coach, would we be looking into your near future trades as well? We like to see previous wins, but would love to see your future plan to win again. Well, that's exactly, if you read the title of the video, for starters, that's exactly what we're talking about. We win and we win again, of course. So the trades that I'm showing, the closed trades, like SMCX in particular, I still have a lot of this one open. So all I did was close. What I do, those of you all that follow me really close, and I get it, this strategy is a little complicated for some people. That's why I hold a pen when I discuss it. It's really complicated for folks. They don't necessarily grasp it right away. But I close the position and then I reopen it as it moves up. So think of it this way: if there's $100,000 to be made, I close it here. Hold on. I open it here. Okay, think of this $100 bill or this stack of hundreds. Think of this as the whole premium that I'm taking in, right? So if I sell here, I take in this much, and then the stock or the underlying fund moves up, and then the premium drops down to here, guess what? I've locked in all of this right here. So then I buy it back to lock in this. That way, in case it moves on me again, I lock this piece in, and then I have, and see, those of you say, well, why are you doing that? You bought back, so you're locking in this, but what about the rest of this? Well, that's exactly why I then go and sell it again, because say I lock in a third, this is about a third right here, right? So the rest of this right here, I want to realize this too. I don't just want this, I want this as well. That's why I originally sold the whole thing. So then to get this, I actually go ahead and sell it to open again. And then as we realize more, say if this is $100,000 total, it just adds zeros to it, right? So if this is 100,000 total, I realize 35 of it here. I want the other 65. Say it goes up again, and then I realize the next 35. I go ahead and close it again by buying back, and then realize this piece. And then I keep going until I basically realize the whole thing. And then what I do a lot of times, if it's going to keep going, if the market's really bullish and it has really good earnings, I may even go further out the next time I open on the strike price. So then instead of just, the premium we see here, I add a little bit more to it. So then you're talking even more premium. So from the original trade, I can end up making vastly more than the original trade. That's exactly why I don't stick to a script. Not sticking to a script in life has gotten me way further than I would have ever imagined. So I hope that kind of makes sense to you all. Because I'll a lot of times, some of them I've done this too. I opened at 75 now because, instead of just waiting to realize all that 70, there's more to be made. And eventually, I'll keep opening higher. But what happens if the market does drop, you're at that higher price, you can get caught holding the bag temporarily. As long as you're in funds that you believe in, you're going to be fine. Because those funds, especially if they have positive free cash flow, you're going to be fine. Which I was just looking at one. What's the newest one that you all are bullish on? Someone said they sold calls on it. Starts with an R. Hold on a second. Let me try to look at the text. But what you'll see here while I'm doing this. Let's see. While I'm doing this, let me try to open up. Let you all room these over here. Let's see. Oh, it was RGTI. I call it Rigetti or something. RGTI. So on a company like RGTI, I actually went and did on a one-on-one session. I did a detailed cash flow analysis, and what I see is that it's cash flow positive, but it's cash flow positive at a lower rate. So if it makes sense, the margin of free cash flow is shrinking. So while it's still cash flow positive, it's less and less so, which is a little bit of a troublesome sign. But what you'll notice here, my final trades on Schwab. So I show a welcome to Mike. Hey, Dividend Degenerates, are you in my Discord, by the way? Because I think you'd be a good mod, actually. I may make you a mod. Anyway, so sold TQQQ, obviously could have bought calls. The one mistake that I might have made over the Friday to now, because I was driving. Well, you should join just Discord, by the way, Dividend Degenerates. You see a lot of valuable information there. But anyway, so because obviously Friday I was busy, what I could have done if I was paying attention, I could have actually sold, or I'm sorry, I could have, what I rarely do anymore, but what I started doing when I started trading options, I could have actually bought calls on TQQQ and made a nice quick gain by closing out today. But anyway, that's besides the point. So I sold my block. I sold my Microsoft. I sold some TQQQ. Maggie, what a great name for a fund. And NVDY, you sold it. Or you added some. Okay, interesting. And then so SMCX. So this was the final thing that Schwab decided to do to me. So they counted all of my gain basically on the lot. And I'll show you all this because they counted the entire gain is what they did. Even though it was... some of it, because I sold down, some of it was at a loss. They did it on like a FIFO basis. Now, believe it or not, I did keep a little bit of money with Schwab because I have some securities on loan that I didn't want to move over. But anyway, you'll see here this $28,000 gain. There's actually a disallowed loss of like 11,000. So subtract that. So it's really like 17,000 or so. But anyway, I basically opened this trade back up at the same strike, which I'll show you all over here. In the transaction history, let me go back over here. So those are my last 4 trades in the Schwab account. Let me switch tabs over to here. So here we go. In the individual account, let's see. Oh, account transfer fee. I actually got that covered because they gave me $200 for my inconvenience. So this was all transferred over. Let me make sure there we go. Make sure we're sharing here. What time is it? 4:56. Been ranting and raving for over 10 minutes already. Okay, so what you'll notice, the trades here, these were very close. I missed about $750 or so when I bought back to close, then when I sold to open, but still I came very close. So when I did this one, what you'll see, the lots here, it's like a FIFO basis, which means first in, first out for the accountants out there. But anyway, and then this is what you all will notice here on the transfer, this ACATS, this $520,000 cash balance. This one I really wanted to get over to Fidelity because this pays me 4% with the SPACs. So the SPACs and the FDRXX are paying over 4%. So that's going to be a nice monthly check of passive income just on that. So if you do the math, 520,000 times roughly 4%, that's about 21,000 a year. So that's another $1,730. So that was a big reason why I decided to move over. But with that being said, let's go over the realized gains and loss here. This was our final. So we're building up to the number I have in the Discord here, which, spoiler, if you all are in there, you actually saw the end of the movie before the movie was even over. So this is just in one account. See, they're showing this disallowed loss here, actually 12,000. But what'll happen, the way they got me on that, they adjusted the sell price on SMCX from what I just showed you, like the 141 down to 131 to cover this basically. So, you know, it's kind of a few little things happened to me there as I transferred, which were a little frustrating. But anyway, you'll notice here, here's this trade here. If I'm able to see the details of the lots on it, Fidelity actually shows it a lot better. Like if I go into my Fidelity positions, we'll go over this first, but for illustration, I'll show you all my Fidelity positions in a second. Yeah, I'll show you the details. Pretty easy to click on, actually. But anyway, so where we ended here, this was net and net 237,000 with net losses of 27,600. The final win rate for the total combined accounts was 90.56%, which is incredible. Never done it before. And the thing is, these losses, I never actually needed to take losses. All I had to do was just be willing to get assigned. A lot of these losses that I took were early in the year and are less than 10% of the overall gains and loss, but weighted, you know, on a weighted basis. You don't need an invite, but I'm inviting you now if you want that. So there you go. The Discord link is in just about every video. It might not be in this one yet because I haven't posted it. I haven't done my final like text post for the video, but we'll get there, not to worry. So anyway, you'll notice the bulk of this is a short-term gain, which is going to be a blast, you know, when it comes to to tax day, of course. But anyway, net and net 237,000. So that combined with Fidelity, which we're going to switch over to over here. Oh, and let me do a final review here just of the overall. I'll scroll down basically. So you'll see the trades here. I'll go slow enough so that you all can slow the video down and see. But you'll see some of the gains got bigger and bigger and bigger. The only real loss that I took came this one where I tried to buy calls on Anip Pharmaceuticals and then had to buy back or sell at a loss basically. But I netted some premium. Then I had to free up some money in March, so I took some losses here. Otherwise, you'll notice the account for the whole year has done very well since the beginning of the year. We came out of the blocks fast. It was like January 3rd. We were making money already. And really, we carried the momentum from the end of last year directly into this year. Like if you all look at the gains in this account over here, it was basically last year, you know, net 35,000. But the bulk of this, and you'll see the win rate was a lot lower, but the bulk of this came within like the last 2 months of the year because that's where I started to really master this strategy here. So that was pretty good for the last 2 months of the year. I realized we were onto something, and then this year just took it to the next level. Far exceeded what I ever thought I would do. That is Schwab. So now we'll switch over to Fidelity. And for those keeping track at home, that's 237. We're going to go over the Fidelity stuff now. So let's see if we move tabs. Here we go. Oh, thank you for joining, by the way. Let's see if you go by the same name over there. Let's scroll down over here. Ah, you do use the same name. That's awesome. Okay, cool. Well, we'll welcome you in a second, but we'll try to finish this first. All right, so what we have, this is the trade I just showed. So I closed out SMCX twice. Believe it or not, that moved up my yearly gains by about 50,000 because these two trades, you do the math, 28,000, 22,000 equals 50. So these trades I've had open for like 2 months. But what I like about this, you'll be able to see the different lots here. So what I did, when I bought this back, I bought them all back on October 9th, right? But you'll notice I sold them at different times. The bulk of this, believe it or not, I sold at a loss. But because Fidelity fills these much better, Schwab, I think I never had that issue with the FIFO thing until this last week as I was moving, which I think is fishy. You know, I think they were screwing with me a little bit. So, but anyway, you'll notice here the 21,000. See, I bought more and it's got them in different lots. If you do the math, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 9 plus 6 is 15 plus 5, 20. So I had 40 contracts open. So the 20 over here were at a slight loss, but I sold 20 more a week later. And you'll notice because of that, I netted a big gain. Now, some people out there think that I'm somehow doing this to cover up something or somehow that this indicates some kind of nefarious activity. I'm very open and honest and transparent about this. So everything you're seeing here is exactly what I did. So if there seems to be anything whatsoever nefarious about this, feel free to call it out right now, because everything I'm showing you is every lot of this transaction. And yes, 20 of them were at a slight loss. So, you know, if anybody wants to prove a point, yeah, I do lose money sometimes. I'm not perfect. Anyway, so you know, that's that. But a week later, you know, what really saved me, what really allowed me to make this gain is that when it tanked, I basically dollar cost average and sold even more. And so you'll see I was able to net a very nice gain. So again, see, if I had like my, you know, Vulcan mind probe, like whatever, like following the script to a T, I would have never gone and sold more at a lower price. But I believed in this company a lot. And I just knew that they would recover. And someone asked me about, you know, the future over here. And, you know, I have different equipments and different devices and stuff to read the future, of course. Like I have what started out as my own advanced equipment, but now YieldMax decided to copy me. But I could actually use this. So YieldMax just gives you a YieldMax fund. Like, and then what I could do, I could actually do videos and cover YieldMax funds because whatever fund comes up is the one I could talk about. But anyway, these are basically, you know, prognosticative tools. I've been known to call one the advanced financial forecasting equipment. The other one, I guess we'll call it the not quite as advanced because it's like a little bit of a copycat, but it's still cool. You know, often imitated, never duplicated, right? So you are correct. It is THB Finance, the Discord. Actually, the Discord is called Living Off Dividends and Options Income. Here, we'll go ahead and welcome you both over here. See two things at once there. Okay, so I hope the SMCX conceptual stuff makes sense here. I know it's a little advanced, but that's basically what I did. And for Fidelity, for illustrative purposes, it's pretty easy to show that. So what we want to do now, that was just from this month, but we want to look at 2025 as a whole. Now you'll notice, so my two accounts that were with Schwab are over here now. So this Roth IRA over here, this 82,479.93 and this 419,510.69. These are both the Schwab accounts. So now it's a combined basically 1.2 million. It does fluctuate a lot because it's gotten to be a big account basically. Well, there's actually 5 total accounts and soon there will be 6 when I get my old pension over here. And then one day when I cash out, actually probably next summer, when I get rid of the stupid life insurance policy that I was sold when I used to work for advisors, when I get that, I'll actually roll that over here too. So I'll end up probably having most everything over here. Now, if you all are enjoying this very valuable content, because this is more valuable and for free, by the way, than what you'll find most everywhere else, please smash that like button. 2 thumbs way up. We'd like to get that like ratio higher, of course, just like our win ratio. If my like ratio matches, well, it actually does. It's like it exceeds it. Actually, it's like 98%. Most of you love me. There's only 1 or 2 out there, 1 or 2 bad apples, shall we say. But anyway, if we could definitely keep that like ratio higher on the live stream, that would be awesome. So if I go to all accounts here, I'm going to break some news that I already broke in the Discord. Anybody that's really good at math out there can pretty much solve this, you know, they can summate this total. So it's 163,215, or sorry, actually it's this one. No decimals at the end, actually, 163,402. If you add that to 237, you'll actually, oh, and you can't see because I actually have my handsome face here in the bottom right corner. But anyway, the total, let me see if I can move this around a little bit. Or if I can, here we go. That works. All right. So the total down here, which unfortunately they do it in smaller font, so you can't really see. But yeah, I'll let you all, you know, ruminate over that for a second. That's 163 over here. So anyone that happens to be good at math, which I would think are a few folks on this stream, if you're into finance, if you're into investing, you probably know a little bit about math. You know, like me, I know how to count on my fingers. So, but you all could easily you all could what's the term I'm looking for? Not decipher, but you could deductively solve, you know, 163 plus 237. We've actually gone over 400,000 for the year in trade wins, which if you all had to guess, do you think that's less or more than I make working? The answer actually starts with an M. It's more, actually, which is just mind-boggling, absolutely surreal, absolutely mind-boggling. But anyway, you'll notice the trades that I close out are very similar between what I was doing in Schwab and what I've been doing at Fidelity here. So you'll see AMDL, Connell. Believe it or not, here I bought a call. This iRhythm Technologies bought a call. But you'll notice same things, NVIDIA and VDL. Obviously made a fortune on that. I think my biggest wins by far will end up being an SMCX by the end of the year. If you add up, in fact, if you add up the different lots, it's higher, or it's about the same between NVDL and SMCX. Those are my two biggest ETFs. And then of course TSLL, I've made a lot in that one as well. I'll show you all a sneak peek over here into the portfolio real quick. So if I look at the overview over here, this is Schwab. We don't have the cost basis yet, but this is just everything that moved over from Schwab. Over here we have, so AMDL, I just want to show you all what I'm sitting on real quick here. This is another about 47,000 in premium that I sold. And then you'll see that I'm sitting on like a $19,000 gain that I could close today like that and lock in if I wanted to pad my numbers. But I'd rather actually ride these out. You see MSTU is one that I'm losing in, but I'm confident that one is going to recover. And because I sell so far out of the money, I'm able to take in really nice premium there. Okay, we got another comment from Passive Earnings here. Who is Tomas Surya? Oh, he likes the advanced equipment. So keep in mind, for those folks tracking at home, we've got the advanced equipment and we've got the also advanced equipment, but not quite as advanced. I like that name, Tomas. That actually happens to be one of your favorite people's first names as well. What did you all ever take a guess that the T and the initials THB stood for, right? Okay, let's see. All right. So yeah, the Discord's not too hard to join. There's a link in every video. It's pretty much easier to make these trades than it is to figure out how to join the Discord, believe it or not. You all would be shocked how easy these trades can be. In fact, sports betting, which is like another side hustle of mine now, sports betting is actually harder for me than making these trades. But anyway, so that's that. And then what I'm excited about here is that the combined, you'll see, and that's my margin. Believe it or not, some of it somehow, even though I'm not using it, I have some margin over here. So let's do this. Let's go over here, and then we'll finish the rest of the comments over here. Oh, real quick, let me go back over here and show you all. So yeah, the 520 over here, and then basically the cash over here is 684, 465. So how much is that going to pay me now? That's going to be, let's see, 684, 465, 54 times 0.04 will be 27,378 divided by 12. That'll be $2,282. Will that be more or less than last month? Let's see. Let's look up FDRXX. This one I think is better. Believe it or not, I'm grandfathered in on these because I have been doing this FDRXX for, you know, since the beginning of the year. So, oh, I thought I had to sneeze. Hold on a second here. I wanted to filter. Bear with me here. Dividends, interest. There we go. Come on. You can do it. Ah, here we go. So it'll be a little bit higher than what I said because see the cash balance is about the same. So folks, this is why I like Fidelity so much. See these 4 lines here? Those of you that are good at accounting, it's like a ledger. So these are actually, this is what the account made, or these 2. I'll just do all accounts real quick, but this is what the account made. See, we're getting dividends from other stuff too. But from the FDRXX and the SPACs, one of mine is actually in the SPACs, but for only being there for a few days, you see what it made. So that's why I'm over at Fidelity now. So anyway, that's easy income because it's not tied to investing. All right, so passive earnings says, what's the plan, coach? Would you keep rolling the SMCX options of December 19th at 70 until SMCX goes over 70 and you buy back? Or do what you just did every time it goes down like you did on Friday? No, I actually didn't. Well, yeah, I do buy more when it goes down. I did do a little more today, actually. My plan is to, what is my plan? Do I have a plan? Do I look like a man with a plan? Sorry, that's not my line. But what is my plan? I actually, so what I do as it moves up, because you'll notice here, we have another earnings coming. So if I go to SMCX over here on the Seeking Alpha, and don't worry, my ADD is not too bad. I didn't forget to switch tabs. By the way, how are we doing? Have we got a black screen yet? If we go the whole video without a black screen, I'll have to eat some popcorn or something. All right, so let's look at, so earnings over here. We're going to have earnings again on, let's see here. See, look, now all the articles about SMCX have turned positive. By the way, for those of you asking, or those of you that asked me, I did ask Will Rind about SMCL. SMCL is another cheap option. And don't worry, I'm not sidetracked, but I just want to show you all. I am salivating over doing options on SMCL whenever the options chain becomes available, because I love Granite shares, and also because the fund price is so much lower than its Defiance counterpart. I would love having an options chain on this. So I asked Will. He said there would be an options chain coming. And I'll ask him again in person because I'm actually going to see him next week. I'm going to the Stocktoberfest in San Diego. Have you read Thinking in Bets by Annie Duke? Well, I don't read, so I don't know about what books or anything are. I just write and write calls and puts, but I do need to read more. If anybody wants to send me books as a gift, it's always, books, super chats, whatever. Those always do make great gifts, because I know a lot of you have me on your Christmas list or your Hanukkah list or your Kwanzaa list, whatever holiday you celebrate. So I know you all are looking for gift ideas for the coach. So books are certainly great gift ideas, I'll just say. And I might read them. That's the perk of it. You might get me to read more. Getting me to read more would probably focus my brain even more than it already is. I tried to say that without laughing, but unfortunately didn't succeed. All right, but we do succeed in trading. So SMCL, we're saying no options chain yet. But my point I'm trying to make with SMCX, so there's a few other potential catalysts in terms of the stock price. So see, all of you all watching me, if you all can get through all the BS, all the humor, well, I call it humor, but not everybody has the same sense of humor. But if you can get through all of the flack, basically, you can actually get some valuable information. So basically SMCX, yes, by December 19th, I'm going to hold, I'll probably just keep holding. I don't have any plans to change anything unless it shoots up. So if it has great earnings, which the earnings I believe are coming at the end of the month. So let's see now. Why am I drawing a blank here? Let's see here. We don't care about that. See, these are their underlyings in case you all wondered. Let's see here. Oh, they're in Dreyfus Government Cash Management. I like them even more now. Or is it Dreyfus? No, that was an actor's name. Okay, let's see. Hold on, bear with me here. It says SMCX, the high octane ETF that's crushing or crashing investors. So let's see here. Analyst ratings, expenses, dividends, risk, liquidity. Where does it show you earnings on here? I forgot already. I guess Google's my friend. I had a professor tell me that once. I have to freaking Google it. I can't believe these websites, they keep changing their formats and stuff. And oh, I know why. I know why it's not showing me earnings, because SMCX is not the underlying ETF. It's SMCI. Sorry about that, folks. Had a little bit of a brain fart here. So we should be looking up SMCI. So I'm sorry, SMCI. Keep in mind, folks, SMCX is a derivative product of SMCI. SMCI is the stock that we're bullish on. So SMCX is the leveraged ETF of SMCI. Now, SMCI is the fund, obviously, that SMCX derives from. SMCI, they give it a D plus for profitability. But here we go. That's why we have an earnings tab for SMCI. So the next one, and we want SMCI to do well because that means SMCX will do well as well. So earnings are announced on November 5th, which is less than a month away. So if we have a massive catalyst in earnings, I'll probably, to answer your question, passive earnings, I'll probably buy back. And then I'll just sell again because, again, in my illustration here, if earnings is a big catalyst, we've already locked in this piece. If earnings is a big catalyst, then we may get to here and lock this one in, but we still want to lock this chunk here. So then we'll probably sell to open again, or go further out. Who knows? I have to, in the next 2 months, I have to kind of recalibrate and reset my outlook on what the market's going to do. If we get 1 or 2 more rate cuts before the end of the year, which is entirely possible, then I'll probably just keep going out and selling even higher. Why not, right? Because this fund, as you all see, if you look back to like January and February, it shot up really fast because it's leveraged. So SMCX is known to get over like $100 really fast. So see February 18th, 125. If it gets back to that, folks, we'll make a fortune, all of us that are in this. So that's my plan. I'll just keep on, depending on the catalysts of the market, whether it's, the Fed rate decisions, which I think we have 2 more. We've got 1 more earnings for SMCI. So it's August, September, October, and then we'll have another one in January. So we'll get some momentum in December 19th. If I haven't rolled out, because my next step might even be to roll out, actually, because most of these are in IRAs, so I don't really care about the gain and loss because of the fact that it's in an IRA. So let me end on this note. I'll show Discord one more time. I'll show you all, because the one-on-one sessions I'm doing have been going really well, and all of you all are really happy about that, and it's super easy to book. If anybody wants a one-on-one with me, I can teach you all how to, do the SPACs or the FDRXX in terms of basics. I can give you, trade suggestions, trade ideas. Remember, none of this is financial advice. It's for entertainment purposes only, but I do happen to be showing what I'm doing. So, but that's super easy to book. You all can contact me on Discord, or you can email me, lifechangingfinancialconsults@gmail.com. And I do have a really advanced website too, actually. If you guys check out my website, it's on my YouTube description. It's like super cutting edge, and it's got a contact form on there. You could contact me from there as well. Okay, so Discord over here, let's see. So here's what I show, not to keep regurgitating myself, but every week I try to update where the portfolio is, and I try to show you all my trades. And because I get it, they're past trades, but keep in mind, when I'm closing a trade, I'm almost always reopening a very similar trade. So I'm not just closing and running away. Let's see. Passive Earnings says, we'll follow this trade. One of my Canadian friends is very bullish on SMCI as well. Thanks for sharing. You're welcome. If your Canadian friend's bullish on it, it's like pretty much a certainty to go up then, right? I mean, that's like it's like a sign, right? But anyway, so I show here, you'll all see, it may sound like bragging a little bit, but here's about the future, by the way. So the trades we have open, this is what I didn't even get into, but the trades we have open, which are very similar to what I've already shown, trades in AMDL at 14, which we could probably go higher on that now because we blew past 20. Trades on CONL, that's another good one. CoreWeave, CWVX or CVWX, that one. NVDL, look, all these funds are blowing past their 52-week highs, and SMCX. So those, if I end up realizing all of those, that's another 500,000 in premium on top of this. It's not out of the question, folks, which is absolutely mind-boggling. I can't even believe I'm saying this. Somebody should like shut me up right now because I keep, I just keep ranting too much. But like, it's already 400,000 for the year, and we could exceed that in the last 80 days if all these trades go right. It's just amazing. 900,000. I never could make this working. This is absolutely 100% amazing. And I'm going to end on that note. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and join Discord. And, like I said, those of you that have my gift ideas on your Christmas list, books are great as well. So all those activities, doesn't have to be in that order, but just remember to do them all, especially smash that like button. Share these ideas with your friends, family, relatives, neighbors, close ones, loved ones, friends, foes, and alike. We want to spread the word, spread the wealth, and make everybody prosperous. Thank you all. Take care. Have a great evening. Bye.